Welcome back everyone. We're going to continue and actually finish off this keyboard in this part. All we have to do is connect these individual keys to the sort of legs that we put together in the last part. So it should hopefully be a bit of a shorter episode. But before we do that, let me explain how I cleaned this part up. So off camera, like I said at the end of the last part, I was going to go in and just sort of straighten everything out. And all I did to do that was I went into multi-view, I went into this view here, I then went into vertex mode, and I just sort of went through and shrank all of these guys down to be even in size. And then I would just kind of snap them to these sort of holes here, like snap all the way to the left and all the way to the right, depending on what side it was. Did the whole pass all the way through so everything's even in size. And it's definitely looking a lot straighter, a lot nicer. And then of course I mirrored it over to the other side. So yeah, we kind of went over like 99% of it in the last part. I just wanted to make it clear that I did clean it up a bit. So now if I isolate it, it's definitely a lot straighter. There's no weird twists or turns or anything like that. And doing a pass like that was pretty necessary to sort of get everything lined up properly. But with that done, what we can do is sort of move on to this front part. I'm thinking about it quite a bit. There's always some sort of unexpected twist or turn that comes up, but I'm really hoping that this doesn't take too long. So I already have this sort of front piece from the middle. So if I isolate this, it's pretty much what we've done before, but it goes up, down, and then plugs in right here, sort of a curve to it. What I'm going to be doing is just duping that, duplicating it, and repurposing it for the rest of the keys. So with that selected, we can just sort of go to our Smart Duplicate face. I'll probably just leave that open. We can center pivot, and let's just move it to the side now. Yeah, this should be fine, but essentially we can just sort of go through, snap it, so it's level. It seems like the width is a little bit different. So what I'm going to do for convenience sake, just so that everything is consistent, is kind of move it to the middle and then just snap the width of this. That way everything else is the same. If you isolate it, we want this to be, that sort of end cap face to be deleted, and these end cap faces are also deleted, so we can just sort of merge them pretty easily. But essentially, we're going to want the keys isolated, kind of all of this stuff. Yeah, because we're just sort of connecting this stuff, right? So I'm going to be going from left to right. We can't really mirror this stuff over as far as I can tell because it's not perfectly symmetrical. If I go to my top view, yeah, everything's sort of shifted over. So we'll be having to do each key one at a time, which isn't too big of a deal. One thing to note though is these sort of like extra keys that are different sizes. I think this is one of them. I'm just going to want to not do these ones, so I'm going to color them red so I remember them. I can't remember if this is one of the main keys. I'm going to count. There should be 42. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. That's only 40? We are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 18, 20, 22, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 41. Okay, I miscounted. So this one is one of the 42. So I'm going to change the color back to gray, and we'll be sure to connect that up. The reason I don't want to connect to these guys is because we only have 42 of these connection pieces. And we do have reference of sort of these larger side ones having different connections. Like this is an example. It like sort of bypasses the regular system and goes to the back. Same with this here. So these guys get a special treatment. The main ones though just get connected to these yellow pieces. So let's go back and select all of that. Isolate it. Okay, so yeah, let's just go left to right. Should probably end up deleting those faces because we don't really need them. And essentially, we're just going to have to sort of plug everything in. So I'm going to move the pivot to a corner here. We can just sort of snap it. Obviously, this is not correct. So let's grab this and drag it down. Move the pivot here and snap it with this so it's level height-wise. Move this forward so it's level. And maybe we should include the frame here, as well as this guy. Just so we have a better idea of what we're doing. So this is kind of off to the side. In fact, it's being plugged into one of the red ones that we agreed not to do that for. So let's grab this. I think I'd probably put it to this one because this is the furthest left. Let's just sort of do this plug technique where we move the pivot to a corner, snap that, reset the pivot and move it up a little bit, and then we'll clean up the bottom. So to clean it up, I think what I'll end up doing is adding in a cut and just snap it to the side so it's level, so it's at least coming out straight before it turns and rotates a bit. I'm trying to think where the best length to sort of have the straight part be. Should it be straight and then curve right away out of it? Or be mostly straight and then curve at the end? I think I'm liking that a little bit more. So I don't want it coming out curved like this. So I'm going to add a cut. Move my pivot to the corner. Snap that to the side, and that way it's like mostly straight, curves, and then goes up. That way we can have them all coming straight out of these gaps that we've made. It seems a little bit more natural. Okay, that's one. Yeah, see where it's going to get a bit complicated is these gaps are so close, but then we have like key here, key here, key here. And they're all relatively close in position. So we'll see how that goes. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. We're going to have to move our pivot to the corner, snap it, This one, we can do this one that's further down. So same as before. Put the pivot in the corner. Snap it. Raise it up a little. I'm going to delete this for now so it gets re-straightened out. We'll add in a cut. Move the pivot to the side of the cut, and then we will force it to be straight. Interesting, so this is an example of something we'll have to look out for. It's intersecting because we can't have it go straight that far, so when we're adding these cuts, it's going to have to be further back, so it's not intersecting with any geo. So something more like that, but even then it's a bit too close, I think. I wonder if we should sort of just have a universal spot. Maybe, I think it just has to be before these keys, it should be fine. So somewhere like here. Because yeah, we can't do something like that. Yeah, so let's just keep it straight here. I'll redo this one. Just adding a cut. Having it be level. And then snapping it out so it's straight. I'm wondering if it looks weird to have this straight and then curve. If I guess it kind of has to be that way though. Right? Unless I take these, move a pivot to a corner and straighten it out. Because in that way it's straight. And I think we'll probably do that kind of method where we straighten it out at the end, so it's straight, curve, straight. Can do it for here as well. I think that works. Some of these more modern keyboard references I'm seeing, they're all coming out very straight. But as far as I can tell, we're going to have some sort of curves. It's the only way we can get them through properly. So we'll continue with this sort of method. We'll do this one next, since it's the next one in line. Duplicate that over. Pivot seems to stay there, which is really nice. So I'll keep this cut here. Or maybe not. I think that'll ruin things if we change the depth. So I'm going to delete that. Grab this. Of course, move our pivot. Plug that guy in there. Okay, so let's delete this. Add in our cut here, make it level. Make sure to keep this straight. I wonder if this is going to work for these short ones. If I then take this and snap it there, that looks a little bit goofy with the spacing. Unless I were to like pull it down. Yeah, we're just gonna have to sort of adjust the size as we go. Because we want it to start straight, end straight. It's kind of our main concern with this stuff. Okay, that's another one. Now we have this next row where these two are in line. I think we should prioritize the back ones first, because we want to have less to sort of, we want less in our way on the way down, so we can do this one afterwards. So I'm going to duplicate this guy. Snap it there. Go ahead and delete these two for now. We'll snap this. And of course, pull it up a little bit. This is going pretty far down, so I guess we could raise it up a bit. I guess that's something I should check in the reference, if those sort of hook parts, if they're all equally low to the ground. Yeah, it kind of seems like each row is equal. And we don't have any that are in the same row, but it seems like they go lower down each step. So highest, second highest, third highest, fourth highest. Okay, we seem to have that pretty good. I might want to raise. Just want to make sure they're relatively equal distance away from each other. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're all following this line. It's mostly just this one that can afford to be a little lower. I just don't want it to be going under the foot, right? So we'll have it going that low. We'll have this one going about that low. I feel like that's probably going to mess a few things up. Alright, hello everyone. So at this point in the video, I decided to sort of cut it and speed it up. What I decided to do here was kind of take the position that the legs were coming out and extrude them to where the keys were. Now this, as you will see if you keep watching, wasn't really the best thing to do. I have a timestamp to skip this because I end up undoing all of this work. But essentially I wanted to keep it in here just in case you guys wanted to see it. I kind of wanted to put all the stuff that I'm doing in this tutorial, but this isn't necessarily correct. Previous to this point in the video though, the points I want to sort of make is how we're connecting everything through the bottom there, and that each one of these keys has a different sort of height that the bottom point is going to. Other than that, you can sort of skip ahead to that time point that's sort of watermarked at the bottom there, and I will do a basic commentary explaining what I'm doing, because I ended up recording that part without talking over it because I kind of wanted more time to think. But yeah, I will explain what that's sort of illustrating in a couple of minutes. So if you skip there, I'll explain what's going on. All right, so this is the other part of the recording. So with this, what I'm doing is, this is slightly sped up, but mostly real time. It's like 10% faster than it should be. Essentially, I have all these keys here. I'm going to end up deleting most of them. But like I said a couple of minutes ago, they're all sort of bent a little bit because what I'm doing is I'm taking them from those holes and moving them to where the keys should be, when I should be doing it in the other way. I should be pulling the top of the keys to where everything's coming out of. So you'll see as I go through this, what I'm doing is I'm taking sort of one key from each height, I'm modeling it in a position it's supposed to be, and then just duplicating it and moving it over and replacing the other keys. So I'm not going to commentate over all of this. This actually took a lot less time than I thought. So if I had just done this from the beginning, I would have saved a ton of time. But I was going very sort of single-mindedly across without sort of thinking too much. Sometimes when you record and you're trying to come up with a way to explain things as you're making stuff, it gets a little bit complicated, but this way is definitely a lot more simple. So I thought I would just correct that, do a bit more editing in this part so you guys don't waste any time, and yeah, hopefully this makes up for that. So thank you guys for watching. Like I said, I'm not going to comment on all of this, but basically you just have to set up one of each key and duplicate it over, and the video should explain that and show it off pretty well. So yeah, it's sped up a little bit. Hopefully you guys follow along that easily. It's actually a much more simple process than I initially thought, so this will illustrate that pretty well. No new techniques here, so I don't feel like I need to explain it in too much depth. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this part, and with this, the keyboard is actually done. So we're just moving on to little knickknacks. Shouldn't take too long. A handful of parts, where we're going to need a bunch of stuff done in each of them. But yeah, keyboard is done. The main bulk of this is all done, and we're moving at a very good pace. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next part of the tutorial. See ya.